What's that?
Because the music sounds amazing.
I like the music.
It's like, must be something in my soul. All right, so hanging out with Chef Liberman, Chef Mark Liberman out here at Mago Restaurant. Mago Restaurant in Oakland. What street are we on?
We're on Piedmont Avenue.
Piedmont Avenue, intersection of MacArthur and Piedmont. Check them out over here. What would you say this neighborhood's called?
I would say it's called Piedmont Avenue.
I love that. All right, so Chef, how you been, man?
I've been good.
Been good?
Yeah.
How's business been recently?
It's been up and down.
Okay.
Just like everyone, I think, around us.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the economy or if it's just what's in the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a roller coaster the last 2.5 years. But
Yeah.
even the last 6 months has been a little bit up and down.
Okay, got you. I'm just gonna do this real quick.
Better?
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay.
All right, great. So, thanks for calling me, and thanks for vowing to be on the show. It's pretty cool when chefs do that. You're a beautiful space here at Mago. When did you open this place?
We opened in June of 2019.
June of 2019. We'll get into your story, but prior to opening this, had you opened any other restaurants?
Yeah, I opened restaurants for a lot of other people.
Okay.
I opened restaurants for Boulud. I opened a restaurant with Joel Robuchon.
Okay.
And then we had 4 restaurants in San Francisco.
Okay.
Primarily AQ, which is on 7th and Mission. I was there. So we opened all those restaurants up there.
Got it. Okay, very cool. So veteran of the game when you came into this.
I think so, but also always focused on the kitchen side of things, never on the overall everything.
So that was a learning lesson.
That was a learning lesson, yeah.
What was your most valuable learning lesson from that?
Everything takes longer.
Okay.
Everything's more expensive, including like permitting and all that stuff just kind of adds up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was just a lot of, especially dealing with Oakland. I've never opened a restaurant in Oakland. Oakland was my first time opening a restaurant here.
Right.
So learning about the bells and whistles that Oakland wants versus San Francisco, for example.
Okay. So you would say that the clientele is different here, and that obviously dictates what you'll be cooking. What's the main difference there, do you think?
I think the tourism.
Okay.
Tourism in San Francisco drives a lot of the business. Here, especially where we're at in Piedmont Ave, it's a lot of neighborhood people. Locals.
Okay.
Oakland locals, Berkeley. Weekends we get more people from like around the East Bay, even from the city. But most of the time during the week, it's locals.
Was there a other restaurant in this space, or?
Yeah. So this was Cybel's Pizza for like 30 years.
Okay. So when I worked at Charter Oak, there used to be Trevina Pizzeria.
Yeah, I used to go to Trevina.
Yeah. Do you have people coming in here like, where the fuck's a pizzeria?
Yes. Like 4 years later, because I got the space in 2018.
Yeah.
And they stop and they're like, where's the pizza? And I'm like, bro, it's been 4 years.
Yeah, it's not
this has not been a pizza place.
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy how people their memory is just like, go to the food. Yeah. Go to where the food is.
They just walk in confused. They're like, what?
Yeah, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
I'm like, you missed the window.
Did they have any cool equipment here that you kept?
Most of it was old. I mean, I kept a bunch of spatulas and Cambros. That was about it. Like everything else was just like shot. Like all the refrigeration was like from the 80s.
Mm-hmm. So you weren't even able to like sell anything?
I sold it all. But I mean, I got like, pennies for the dollar. Yeah. But I just had to get it out to demo.
Heard that. Okay. And did you come into this project with outside investors and things like that?
I had a small amount of investors. My big thing with opening the restaurant, so I took a few years off, and I was gonna if I was gonna open a restaurant, I didn't want to have a bunch of investors.
Right.
I didn't want to spend $2 million on a build out. So I do have maybe 9 or 10 investors, and most of them are friends that gave me some money. So I did need some investors, but I didn't want to have 40 investors, and I didn't want to have all that tied up. When we opened restaurants in the city, we had like 40 investors, and that from the profit margin, that just eats it away.
Do you find that challenges other things other than the profit margin? Like, is there creative details that you need to deal with certain investors?
There's definitely. I mean, you have more investors. There's some that have a higher percentage in the business, so they have more of a say.
Right.
Which I also didn't want. I didn't want anyone to have over 5% of the business, just because I didn't want to have anyone telling me what to do.
Right. Okay. Heard that. So you are completely like you have creative freedom over everything, front, back of the house.
Do whatever I want.
Okay, awesome. So they're kind of like silent investors.
Yeah, they're silent investors. I mean, they're friends of mine, so we hang out and we discuss the business side.
Right. But have they ever come here and been like, this dish is trash, change this?
No. They have not done that.
Okay. They're listening to this now. They're like, well,
I had one dish you did that was shit.
Exactly. Well, they seem nice, you know?
Yeah,
they
yeah.
seem nice. That's cool. All right. Well, you know, here on Sucio Talk, we'll take it all the way back. So where were you born?
I was born in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay. What neighborhood? What hospital?
My parents lived in the inner Richmond.
Uh-huh.
I was born in Mount Sinai,
Okay.
which I think is now, I don't know what it is now, St. Francis, I think. It's still there, but it changed. Yeah, so I was born there, lived in the city for, I guess, maybe 2 years. Then we migrated to Petaluma.
Oh, Petaluma.
Petaluma.
That's a great little town.
Yeah.
To grow up. A lot of dairy.
A lot of dairy,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of chickens.
Did you grow up on farmland?
So at some point, we moved into a like suburbia house, and then at some point, my dad sold the house. We moved to a farm in Sebastopol.
Right.
We lived for maybe like 2 years. My mom hated it, so we
Okay.
moved back to the
Your mom hated
suburbia of Petaluma after that.
it. Okay, got you. And what was growing up like? What were you eating?
My dad was Jewish, from the city, so we ate a lot of, Jewish food growing
Okay.
up. But then my mom's Colombian, grew up in Colombia, so we also ate a lot of Colombian food. And then her not really growing up in the States, she would cook out a lot of those magazines from like the 80s, Variety and Sunset. So it was also like a hybrid of like Americana,
Right.
like meatloaf. But we ate pretty well. Both my parents were good cooks.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And any siblings?
I have two brothers.
Two brothers.
Two younger
Older or
brothers.
younger?
Two younger brothers.
So you were the older brother?
I was the older brother.
Got you. Your parents work a lot when you were young?
My mom was a stay-at-home mom for most of my childhood.
Okay, dope.
But, yeah. So she was with us. She did like some like odd. She worked with fabric a lot, so sometimes she would do jobs like that. But for the most part, she was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
My dad worked a lot.
Bro.
Yeah, he sold life insurance, and he worked in Oakland and Richmond and San Francisco. So he would come up here every day from Petaluma and sell life insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that commute doable? Seems like it is.
Seems like a fucking
Right?
long drive. I don't know.
I guess traffic was probably a lot less.
It was a lot less, but he also had like an old Chevelle, so it just seems like a lot of driving.
Right. Okay. And what was your first job?
First job was so at some point my family moved to Folsom, right east of Sacramento.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, I got a job washing dishes at 15 at this little Radisson Inn.
The Radisson?
It was called the Radisson Inn by the lake. It was right by the lake.
But it was owned by
It
Radisson?
was owned by Radisson.
Okay, dope. I did
Yeah.
an internship at a Radisson Airport Hotel.
Yeah, so that was my
So-
first job, washing dishes and doing like a prep cook.
Yeah.
Prep stuff on the side.
Did you know then that you liked it? Were you into
I
it?
was
or-
totally into it. I remember so when I first washed dishes, I got like you just give a dishwasher jacket.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you're gonna be a prep cook now. You have to go get your own stuff. They didn't supply it at that time. I remember getting my like checkered pants, polyester checkered pants,
Yeah.
and like my polyester chef jacket at the like uniform store. So I was totally into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I remember doing those things for
Yeah.
culinary school. It's a weird thing because you're like in these checkered pants.
They're the most
with-
uncomfortable
Exactly.
things
Yeah,
in the world.
they really are. I wore them a lot though. I wore
Yeah.
them like to go hang out.
Oh, once they got broken in, they were like
yeah,
amazing.
they were really amazing.
Yeah,
exactly.
But like the first like 2 weeks, they were
Yeah.
just like hard and
I wish they would bring them back, like in some kind of stylish manner.
maybe.
You know, maybe Headley and Bennett out there. You know,
Yeah, they'd be $95.
Collabo, Sucio Talk, checkered pants. I don't know.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
buy them.
Here you go, first customer. Dope. So you love it. Is this something you want to do for a career?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're like,
even
Mom,
even
fucking-
before I started cooking at home when I was like 12 or 13,
Okay.
like with my mom, like from Good Housekeeping and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I was already into like cooking at home, and once I got in the kitchen, I was totally into it.
Okay.
And it was like back, like working because I used to work like breakfast during the summertime,
Right.
and working breakfast was pretty much working with like ex-cons and felons, but they're all like super cool people. But I totally bought into like the whole lifestyle.
Right. Yeah. It almost like the lifestyle brings you in even deeper. You're like, oh, we could be pirates. It's all.
I mean, it was definitely a pirate ship.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it was a hotel, so it was still. It wasn't unionized, but it was still had like HR. It was a corporate pirate ship.
I like that concept. Corporate pirate ship. Cool. So, you worked there through high school.
Through high school.
Stayed, okay.
Yeah.
And then after, when you're leaving high school, you're like, I'm gonna go to culinary school.
Yeah, I went to culinary.
Okay, where at?
CIA.
CIA.
Yeah, Hyde Park.
In New York. Okay,
Yeah.
Hyde Park. Was a memorable experience there?
I had a really good experience there.
Yeah, you did?
I know some people don't like it. I had a really good experience. It was a good introductory to like a lot of things.
Right. Is there any maybe classmates that you had that are doing things now?
I mean, a lot of my classmates don't cook anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few of my friends that still like really crushing it.
Right.
Like Jeff Michaud in Philly. He's got Osteria.
Okay.
He worked with Vetri for a long time. My buddy Nate's got a restaurant in Bend that just opened up.
Okay.
So there's definitely a handful of my good friends that still cook and are doing some cool shit. But a lot of them just don't cook anymore, like professionally.
Okay.
But a lot of them are also, there were a lot of second career people in my class.
Right.
And so they were like, I'm going to be a chef. And they're like, oh, it's a lot of work.
Like, I used to be a neuroscientist. I'm like, please stay in that field.
Yeah.
We need you. Like, fucking stop with the...
I need a 45-year-old chef.
Yeah, it's like, I followed my passion to become a chef, and I'm like, we need more brain doctors. But please stop moving careers. Like, please. Cool. So you go to culinary school, and then where'd you do your internship?
I did it at La Folie.
La Folie. Okay. What made you go there out of all the places you could have gone to?
I wanted to come back home for a little bit. I was kind of homesick. I was 18.
Right.
I was like staging in Danielle's at the time while I was in New York, and that was just like a lot. I just wanted to come back to San Francisco and find a place. And I was hardcore Francophile at that point, and so I wanted to work at a French restaurant that was doing fine dining, tasting menu, and then La Folie kind of fit the bill of that time.
Okay. And chef at the time?
It was Roland Passot.
Okay. And so it wasn't any CDC or anything like that?
Not at the time, no.
He was there?
He was there every day.
Okay. Dope. Yeah. What was that experience like, just starting, like staging? And were the cooks aggressive?
They were aggressive, but it wasn't like coming from Danielle. They weren't like any more aggressive than working at Danielle.
Right. What was Danielle like?
It was an aggressive kitchen.
Yeah. What year was this?
This was 1997.
1997. Boulud, New York City. Is Boulud in there?
Boulud's in there.
In there.
Yeah, but Corey Lee was not Corey Lee. What was his name? The CDC. I don't remember his name. I mean, I was in Canapés.
Right.
But Danielle was still there every day because Cafe Boulud wasn't open yet.
Okay. So you guys were going for it.
Yeah.
Right. What was it like to see a young Boulud in his like prime going for it?
I mean, I loved working with Danielle.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people have a hard time working there because it's an intense environment and there's a lot of screaming. But I thrived on that.
Mm-hmm. You loved it.
I loved it.
It's like masochistic cooks.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, he loves me because he yells at me. We're all dealing with daddy issues. It's okay. It's okay. So, dope. So, Danielle, you were in Canapés? What kind of Canapés were you doing?
A lot of tarts. A lot of like we did like a lot of vegetable crudités, a lot of like crispy shrimp and katafi.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like old school French stuff too. We did a lot of pâtés and.
Yeah. Were you coming down to the city every weekend to work? Okay, and then just coming back up.
Coming back, taking the train.
How many CIA kids were doing that at that time?
There were a lot of kids that were going to like Oriole, Chantrell, because all the places needed help, so we'd all just come up and then I would work like. I'd also take gigs like at the country clubs in Connecticut and stuff for actually paying jobs.
Oh, right. Connecticut. I grew up there.
Connecticut? It's a very interesting place.
It's a crazy place.
Yeah.
It's like a ghetto suburb.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, doing like the country club stuff there was like really weird.
Yeah, I bet, man.
Yeah.
It's like
it's like old school.
It's like old money and no money.
Yeah.
It's like you fucking what are you gonna do? It's all good.
It's like Caddyshack.
Yeah, right. So, you fucking hustled during school then?
Yeah.
Word up. So you get a job at La Folie. And what was that like? Were you coming in as commis?
I was I was garde manger.
You came in as garde manger.
It was a small kitchen, so it wasn't room for like
Right.
homies and stuff. It was just you were like garde manger. It was 2 of us on garde manger, but it was still chef
Did you
de
have to
partie.
stage for your job?
No, I
No.
did a phone interview
Phone interview.
Phone interview,
Really?
yeah.
With chef?
with chef.
What was that like?
Uh,
What did he ask you?
I don't recall, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what he asked me.
Most times you during the interview, you're just like, do I fucking like this guy?
Yeah, but I remember like because I was in New York at the time when I interviewed with him.
Yeah.
I was just like, I need an internship, and we had an interview, and then he like sent me a letter saying yes.
Okay.
No emails at that time, so it was all
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Send you a letter.
a letter.
He wrote it out, chef.
I doubt he wrote it, but
So he was a diva chef even then.
Yeah.
It's okay. How long you stay at La Folie?
I was there for 6 months, and then I had to go back to school
Okay.
because internships in between classes.
So you finish school, and then what do you go from there?
So I moved back to Sacramento because I was broke. I ended up getting a job at a local like fish place. At that point, I wanted to go to France, and so I was like, I need to save money to go to France. So I was contemplating coming back to San Francisco to work, but also like the cost of living and not having any money at that time because I was paying for school. I was like, I'm gonna go stay with my parents for a little bit, make some money, and then go to France,
Right.
which I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you went to France, where do you go? I mean, at this point, you've never been overseas.
I've never been overseas.
So how the fuck do you? Are
So
you?
actually, I talked to Roland
Okay.
a little bit, and he kind of helped me for some stuff in Lyon, but I wanted to go to Paris. So I had a friend, I had a mutual family friend that was living outside of Paris, who I was able to like stay with them
Right.
when I first got to Paris. They were like an hour outside of Paris.
Okay.
So I stayed with them. I got a stage job at Carré des Fouillons, which is like 2-star Michelin. I was there for a while, but I didn't like it.
Why didn't you like it?
It's like working in a Parisian 2-star Michelin, or even Parisian fine dining. The kids, the people that work in the kitchen are kids. They all start really young. So you're like working with 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds who pretty much talk shit to you the whole time.
Who are super
you're
intense?
like, yeah, it was intense, but like
Yeah.
I didn't mind the workload. It was just the people working with you are kind of shitheads
Right.
because they're like adolescents.
Right.
And
Their whole life they've been told you're going to be the greatest chef in the
yeah,
world.
and I'm from California, and it was
Yeah.
just like you're
Like,
no
fuck
good.
you, bro.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, you're no good. You're like 16-year-old shit cook.
Yeah.
So I stayed there for a while, and
Did
I
you have to prove yourself to them, or were they like, yeah, whatever, bro? They don't care.
They didn't care. They didn't care. I liked the food a lot. The food was good. I liked working there. But eventually, I migrated down to Lyon. I migrated down to Nice, and I found some better restaurants I liked.
Where were you staying?
How
are you
I was
hooking
staying in
that up?
hostels.
You were just at hostels.
Hostels.
Shared room hostels.
Shared room
Like Weird
hostels.
hostels.
Weird hostels.
Okay, gotcha. Any
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
hostel experience stories? Fucking.
No, just like really weird roommates sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, nothing super weird, but
I think was it just transient people? Fucking
yeah.
Backpacking through Europe
yeah,
kind of shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm actually working.
Yeah.
No, nothing like super out of the ordinary. Just like super weird people from like all over the world. So it was a good hodgepodge of people from like Germany and the States and Australia.
Right.
Some were cool. Some were just like super introvert. They didn't want to talk to you at all.
Okay.
But to this day, I will not stay in a hostel after that experience. I'm over hostels.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think one day at a fucking hostel is enough. You go over there staying and working and
Yeah.
living and taking a shower in sandals in a fucking
Yeah,
shared
yeah.
bathroam.
Yeah.
It's disgusing.
I don't want to do it ever again.
You don't have to do it.
No, no.
Nobody's making you do it. All right. Oh shit. So, and I think I just asked you this, but what were you eating during that?
I mean,
time?
I was eating shit ton of duck.
Yeah.
Foie. I mean, I ate a lot of foie. I went to Paul Bocuse at one point.
You
For,
did.
like, yeah, for my birthday. I was there for my birthday, so I went to Paul Bocuse.
Yeah. Did you go with any cooks or
I
just?
went by myself.
Oh,
And
dope.
they styled me out.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it was
bet, 'cause
so
they
much.
know.
It was so much food though. Like Bocuse came out, he was still there. Yeah, it was fucking killer meal.
That's
But,
very cool.
I was so done after that meal. I was so drunk, so full.
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what chefs do to
Yeah,
you
yeah.
when you style
Yeah.
you out. You know. That's how you know. So you go back home, and what's the plan from there?
I moved back to San Francisco at that point. And I ended up staging a bunch of different places, trying out. I stayed in Napa for a while working there. It wasn't really for me at the time.
Where were you working in Napa?
I tried out at Berge du Soleil, and I got offered a job there, and I was there for a little bit, but I just didn't like Napa. It was just like coming from like New York City and then going to Paris and then going to Napa, I was just like, this is too quiet and too chill for me.
Right.
So I ended up going back to San Francisco. And then at the time, Michael Mina had Aqua. So I staged at Aqua. I was there for a little bit, but Aqua was also just like balls to the wall craziness, like lunch and dinner. Mm-hmm. And they had just opened up
just a busy restaurant with a lot of
it was
people.
just a busy ass restaurant with a lot of people, a lot of crazy cooks. And then they just opened up Charles Knob Hill recently, where Ron Siegel was, but he had just left and Melissa Perillo was there. And so I ended up working there for a while.
So you worked for Melissa Perillo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was awesome.
She's fucking badass.
Yeah, she was badass.
Her restaurants are really cool. Did she talk to you about what she was planning at that time? Like,
no.
was she like, oh, I'm going to open these restaurants?
No.
It was just like...
She went from there to 5th floor.
Right.
So I didn't even... when I left there, she was still there.
Okay. What was the food like?
It was pretty Frenchy. California French.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like I was in the shits every day with this dish. There was a Dungeness crab artichoke salad. Mm-hmm. And then every day I had to clean 3 cases of artichokes and shuck crab.
Bro.
And it was
and
just
then
like...
crab?
Yeah, and I was like...
Blacklight? You looking at it?
Yeah. And so that was like... It was a very Cali French food. Mm-hmm. It was a tasty menu. It was a small, intimate restaurant. I think we would do like 25, 30 covers a night.
Oh, 25 or 30 covers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And where were you living?
I was living with my girlfriend in San Bruno.
San Bruno.
San
Okay,
Bruno.
so you were driving,
Yeah.
commuting up.
Yeah.
Okay, heard that. How long did you stay there?
Maybe 9 months, 10 months.
9 months,
Yeah.
okay. While you're there, because it's such a short period, 9 months, are you already looking at the next thing, like 3 months,
No,
4 months in?
I was having issues with my girlfriend,
Right,
and so we had to like split up.
right.
And in that process, I needed a place to stay, and I decided to move to Vegas.
Okay.
So that was kind of like the...
Kind of erratic fucking decisions here.
Yeah,
Chef.
well,
You
my
just
brother...
fucking- He's like, I'm leaving. I'm fucking out of here.
Well, my brother was in Vegas.
Yeah.
And he was working for Michael Mina too, at the
Okay.
Bellagio. He's in wine, and so he's like, you should just come to Vegas. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening. And at the time, the Wynn was opening up. Danielle was opening a place in the Wynn, and I had talking to Fabrizio from Danielle, and he's like, I need people if you want to come and help open the restaurant. So I was like, fuck it, let's go to Vegas. I had a friend that already had a house, so I just went to her house, so we crashed and opened Danielle in Vegas.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So breaking up with that girl is probably the best thing that ever happened to you.
It was a good thing that happened.
Let's talk about this, like relationship-wise, and we don't have to get too personal. But
Yeah.
was it because you were working so fucking much?
I mean, that was part of it.
Yeah.
Because I had to go in early, because I was, like I said, I was in the sheds every day with not just the artichoke dish, but like a lot of, I would come in super early.
Yeah.
And I'd stay super late. So yeah, I was working, 16, 17 hours a day. That was definitely an underlying issue, and that's always been an underlying issue with some of my relationships.
And it always will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So I say, why do people in the industry date within the industry? Because I'm like, they're the only ones that
Understand
understand the
it,
fucking
yeah.
crazy. You know, that could like put up with it. Like, there's very few. I think maybe medical field knows how much
Yeah.
we work. Not that the work is comparable or like
But the
one more
hours.
important than the other. I mean, one is definitely more important than the other. But I think they put 16 hours, 18 hours, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Crazy. It's hard to justify that though, because they're saving lives and we're just like
making some
cooking
food.
dinner.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
fucking-
that's passion,
I
baby.
mean, it's
all good.
passionate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The fuck were we?
Oh, I moved to Vegas.
Oh, you moved to Vegas. Okay.
Vegas.
So you moved to Vegas. You're in Vegas. You're opening this restaurant. How fucking hard is it to open a Danielle restaurant? Or are they pretty much dialed in at this
No,
point?
it was kind of a shit show. Even when I got there, they didn't know I was hired, so they put me in. I was in some weird like commis position, and then when Fabrizio arrived, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like peeling beets for like days and
And they're like,
days.
do you know who the fuck this is?
Well, he's just like, "Why are you peeling beets?" And I was supposed to be on meat roast.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't know. They told me to peel beets and
Yeah.
do all this other vegetable shit." So eventually they moved me. I was doing sauces and doing meat dinner, and it was just a crazy busy. We would do like 900 covers.
What?
Yeah.
For dinner?
For dinner.
Alone?
Dinner alone.
In 5 hours?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was a crazy busy. Like the meat station, there was 4 of us.
Brigade.
It was classic brigade. Fish was 3 people. Meat was 4.
So it's doable. It's just
a lot of fucking volume. Yeah, it's doable. But you're just every pick is just like pick up, 12 pork roasts, 12 short ribs.
Right.
Into like 15 short ribs, and it's like, ugh.
So it's like literally mini banquets all night long.
Yeah. The food was good. It was brasserie food.
Yeah.
It was good food. It was really good. It was a good learning experience as far as like trying to do that amount of volume, with still being everything in house, making the right jus and stocks and like. So it was a good learning experience in that sense, and also working in a big hotel, getting that kind of like under my belt. But it was fucking crazy busy.
So as soon as a little bit into you getting there, you're like, I'm gonna get this place open, then I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I opened it, and then I ended up moving to Joel Robuchon because he was opening up. Like he was, I don't remember when they opened, but it was, it was a while later.
Robuchon in Vegas.
Yeah.
How many? What year was this?
2006.
Did you work with Gabe Morales, Jake Rojas?
I know Jake Rojas.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 2006.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
So he's a fucking pirate kitchen in there.
Yeah, so it was like, opening up Robuchon was intense, but like a totally different intensity because we'd only do, like 30 covers, 40 covers.
But it was like fucking 25 courses or whatever.
Yeah. And then it was just like the microscope was on you the whole time with all the different, like Robuchon was there, but he would only show up, briefly from France. It was mainly his lieutenants that would show up, and they were just on your shit. Like,
what kind of lieutenants we talking here? Like just people that have worked for years at Robuchon restaurants?
Yeah, years for Robuchon that kind of managed the organization.
Yeah. They tend to be Korean, no?
There was one Japanese guy. He was really good. No, the rest of them were French.
Okay,
they were French. Yeah. Like some of the younger guys would come and help, and they would actually come cook with us. But the older guys, I mean, they're not that old; they're like 40 something. Mm-hmm. But they would just come and just stand by you and just tell you everything you're doing this is shit. This is
wrong.
Shit. This is no good. Why is this bad? I'm like,
did they ever have to step up and go on a station, or were they like, could they prove that they were better than you?
No.
Okay.
I never saw them cook a station.
Mm-hmm.
They would just send everything back and be like, "This is no good." Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, you win them over and you start.
Yeah. What happens in a service? I know from my perspective, what happens in a service if I've never worked a brigade, but if you have to refire a dish, because I know especially in French cooking, you're like firing raw whole fucking birds.
No, we were doing a lot of it with sous vide.
A lot of it was sous vide. Okay.
A lot of it was sous vide, so the picks weren't like super long. We would do like rotisserie guinea hens and stuff, and that was like, if that's over or whatever, like you're kind of just fucked. Mm-hmm. You can't do anything about that. But a lot of we did veal, we did sweetbreads, it was all sous vide. Mm. So on the pick, you're just arroséing or you're just finishing it.
So all day for the meat roast, they were mainly doing accompaniment mise en place and bagging things.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. It's funny that you say that because when I worked at Tallulah's for Jake, that was a lot of the pickups were like that.
Like that?
Like a lot of sous vide.
Yeah.
Temper your shit, drop it in a bag, take it out, season the chicken or fucking sear the chicken. It spits at you like a bunch.
Oh, because it's all filled with liquid.
It's all water just like spitting in your face.
Yeah, it's funny now. I'm so anti that whole cooking method. I'm just like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that is very wasteful. Sous vide is super wasteful, and I just don't get into the idea that we should make that much shit that we need to bag and freeze it.
I just don't get I don't like the texture.
Right.
I don't like the flavor. And I also feel like it's a waste of it's plastic.
Yeah.
It's also just a waste of a cook's time to just sit there and bag all this shit, like individual bags. Mm-hmm. It's just like, why don't you just let them cook the veal chop?
Right.
Like, teach them how to cook a veal chop. Instead of I get it, the fact that it's like a perfect piece of veal in your mind, but to me it's not. Like it loses some of its soul sitting in a bath of water for like an hour and a half.
I hear you.
But don't get me wrong. I think tough cuts do really well in sous vide. Because I think the waste you get when you braise like a short rib versus a sous vide short rib is night and day.
Okay.
I do agree with some of that, but for the most part, anything that's like a tender piece, I don't see the point of sous viding it.
Mm-hmm. Like ribeyes?
Yeah, it's like
there's no point.
There's no point.
Yeah, you're almost Well, we're not training meat cooks anymore. We're training them how to just sear things.
Yeah, at that
basically
point. Yeah.
at that point.
At that
right?
point.
Yeah. I remember it being a very nerve-wracking thing to cook meat and do it correctly over and over again, especially in kitchens where you get roasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things. Like I always wanted to I like cooking fish.
Right.
But once you get in that meat roast position, you kind of just like they're like, oh, you cook meat. You cook meat here. You cook meat there. I'm just like, damn it, can I just work fish station sometime?
Right. So
you don't ever get on fish. You get
typecast in the French
as a meat roast
world.
Yeah.
You know, you're either a meat or a fish cook. I've heard a lot of French chefs say that.
Yeah.
And you know,
I'm definitely a meat cook.
I'm a meat cook at heart
for
sure. Yeah. I'm not a fish cook. Can I cook fish? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I prefer to? No.
No, I like cooking meat. And I'm definitely a meat person.
Cool. Were you guys butchering a lot of the stuff, or was it coming already prefabricated?
It was all coming in like primal cuts, so it wasn't like super butchery because it was all being shipped in from different farms. We were getting a lot of stuff from 4-Story Hills, and
4-Story Farm. What's her name?
4-Story Farm. Sylvia.
Right. Is she still rolling? She's still doing her thing?
I don't know.
Because I remember Meadowood. We used to get Poussin from her.
Her shit's super nice.
Yeah, it's just super nice. Mad expensive, bro.
Super expensive. I remember I got in trouble at some point, not at Robuchon, but another restaurant I was working at, where I ordered all this stuff, not thinking about, because I was like, oh, we used to buy this at Robuchon.
Yeah, of course.
And then I got it, I was like, holy shit! Like the shipping alone was like a G in shipping.
Dude, that brings a good point. Is the bubble of the Michelin kitchen. When you're a sous chef there, you don't really know the impact of the money.
Yeah.
You just make the orders because there's never been any food cost talk.
Yeah, you're just picking up a phone.
Exactly.
Saying, give me 30 Poussins, give me...
Yeah, give me this, give me that. Yeah, but then when you go to restaurants that are casual and you do that shit, and then you feel it, but you don't know unless you go run a restaurant that is not in the Michelin world.
Yeah, I mean, remember buying kilos of truffles. Just like fucking boom. Truffles. And then, and
just like picking through and throwing out the bad ones.
Well, so when we opened Robuchon, we opened up like in the late summer.
Yeah.
Early fall. And so Burgundy truffles were still available, and then Burgundy stopped, and there was only whites. So we got white truffles in. And then we used them for a while, and then Perigords came in, and then the French guys didn't want to use the whites anymore. They're like, we're not going to use these whites because they're no good. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's like a half a kilo of whites in there.
Throw them away.
Yeah, they're like, we're just gonna not do anything with them. And so I was like, there's like all these truffles in the fridge.
Yeah.
So eventually, like all the sous chefs and chef de parties, we had like a white truffle pasta night. Yeah. Because I'm like, you guys are gonna throw these all away? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, hell no.
And they're just like, well, they're not black truffles. And I was like, well, you guys are.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've eaten some of the most delicious, expensive ingredients at home.
Yeah.
From the restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what are we, I'm not stealing shit, but if like,
you throw it away.
If you have 4 sous vide bags of Wagyu beef, like, I'm sorry, I'm not, because they're not going to be acceptable on Tuesday.
No.
Especially because, I don't know about you, but whenever you cryo vac stuff and then cook it, as the days go on, it gets like drier and drier. Yeah. It's kind of a weird.
No, I mean, we're the same here. Like, we're dark on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So usually I'm just like, if it's cooked, you guys can take it home. Like, I'm not going to be able to use that on Wednesday.
That's a great mentality, because it was always like, and I'm sure it was like this for you coming up, like, don't take it home or don't tell anybody. Yeah. And I remember the first kid getting in trouble because he like posted a picture of a fucking Shima Aji, and fucking Costello comes in and he's like, oh yeah, is this what you were fucking eating during the weekend? And I'm like, bro, don't post that shit.
No.
He's stealing fucking
you get that from Whole
truffles
Foods.
from work. Yeah, exactly. I got it from Whole Foods, chef. It's like, no, you fucking didn't. Yeah. Now it's more believable that you did.
Yeah.
Get something like that from
Whole Foods.
But back in the day, you're like, no.
Yeah.
No, Trader Joe's doesn't sell Shima Aji.
No.
You son of a bitch. That's funny. So, fuck, where are we in your lineage? We got downtrodden there.
Yeah, we're in Vegas, Robuchon. Eventually I moved back to San Francisco.
How long were you at Robuchon?
About a year and a half.
You're about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. Dope. And what is the? Did you open it? No, you didn't open it. Okay, you opened it. How was it to get a job there after you guys were all said and done and opened? Staging? Was staging a thing?
Staging was not a thing. It was I don't remember how cooks got in because it's all through HR.
You were a union.
It's a union house. So we had to have a percentage of cooks that were from the hotel.
Right.
I don't remember what the percentage was. It was challenging.
Who are you getting from the hotel?
Just like random cooks that were like
have been there for 20 years.
Yeah, like I'm gonna make $25 an hour working at this restaurant that just opened up. So you have a caliber of cook that comes in that's been working at like Wolfgang Puck Pizzeria or whatever, which is no knock to Wolfgang Puck Pizzeria, but like going from Wolfgang Puck doing whatever and then coming to like us doing what we're doing there. Like it was there was a lot of hardships we had.
Okay.
Working with the union cooks.
Got it. So you do your job there, you open it. When do you feel like it's a good time to leave? Like, why did you leave?
I didn't want to be a sous chef there. So that was like the trajectory.
Was like the next step?
Yeah, and they were like, do you want to be a sous chef? And I was like, no, I don't want to.
Like,
I don't want to be a sous chef here. I just want to like do my thing, learn from you guys, and then
bounce.
Get out. Yeah.
Okay. So you bounced back to San Francisco?
I bounced back to San Francisco. Actually went back to La Folie.
Okay.
My girlfriend at the time, she was at Post Studio in Vegas also. And she wanted to come back to the city. So Roland was looking for a chef de cuisine. So I did a tasting for him, and I ended up getting the job there.
Your first CDC job after all that.
Yeah.
What are your parents proud? Are you like?
I think my parents finally like came to grips with the cooking career.
Yeah, I didn't ask you that before. But were they like, "What the fuck? You gonna go cook?"
Yeah, definitely. When I was in high school, because I was like, I'm not going to college.
Yeah.
They're like, why not? I was like, I'm gonna fucking cook. And they're like, what do you mean cook? Like at Olive Garden? I was like, no, I'm gonna cook.
At Olive Garden.
Yeah. So they had a hard time understanding, and they even had a harder time when I graduated from school, and I was like garde manger, making like $8 an hour, and they're like, why did you go to school when you're only making all this? There's no money.
Yeah.
So like they didn't understand the trajectory of like going to school and then still having to like work your way up in a restaurant.
Especially, I mean, having a Colombian mom, like.
Oh yeah.
She's not gonna fucking.
She didn't fuck around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably like, the fuck do you mean you're gonna cook? I cook. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna make millions doing that. That's funny. So they're finally proud of you. Your CDC.
Yeah.
And how does that feel? Because I know how that felt when I got it. I was like,
it was amazing. But it's a lot.
Like I'm here, you know?
Because you want to like do everything. It's like your first CDC. You're like, I want to change everything. But it's like the restaurant that's been there for like 20 years.
Yeah, you ain't gonna change shit.
You can't change shit. Everything requires like a whole conversation with Roland, and because he wasn't there that often, but I still had to like have dialogue. Like I want to do this dish and da da da. He would still work service at night, but he wasn't there during the day.
Okay. Was that tough? Because I know that's hard sometimes when the chef's coming in right at dinner time being like, what is this? This is not right. Why do we do this?
It was okay. I had a good rapport with them to the point where like we could have a discussion, and I would also be very transparent with how the day was. I don't think I was like texting all day, but I'd be like, this is what happened. This is the dish that we had to do, or this is what came in instead of this fish, so we had to change it a little bit. So there was like transparency, so it didn't like all of a sudden in the middle of service.
Wasn't a surprise?
Yeah, which meant like I was in trouble.
No surprises.
Or the sous chef was in trouble. So we tried to like be very transparent with that. The only thing with him, I was like, he was getting older at that time, and he still wanted to work like a station every night. And I was like,
please don't do that to us.
You don't have to work a station every night, chef.
Yeah.
Like you can expo, or you could like not hang out tonight.
Yeah.
Because it's like not that busy. But he was like super gung ho. He's like, I want to work. He had like his rapid dish that he did, and he did like a foie. That was like the two dishes.
Yeah.
He wanted to pick up.
Didn't he like? I mean, I know you probably. How long were you CDC there?
About a year.
When you left, he was still working the line, right?
He was still working the line.
Like, I mean, he worked the line until that fucking place closed,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Is Nisei?
Nisei's there.
Nisei's at the
Nisei's
spot,
there.
right?
Yeah.
That's they took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of crazy things about him. Like he is an insane, insane chef who's like.
He definitely chilled over the years.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, working with him, he was a little crazy.
You like to create chaos.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Throw a lot of plates and
yeah,
scream.
So you did that for a year. Did you think that was a short amount of time, or you were just like, feels right, I need to leave? Did he know you were going to leave in a year?
No, he was pissed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's always hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He took it like very personal.
Yeah, they always do, man.
Yeah.
It's especially back in the day. I feel like now not really much anymore.
No, I feel like
That's
I
calmed
feel like you
down
can
a
get
bit.
6 months out of a person these days. I'm just like, okay, give me 6 months.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like you do get more of a notice if you have a sous chef. Like it's an unwritten rule that you give at least 3 months.
I gave like 5-month notice.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but even
Man, if you give a year notice, that's 2 months. Then they start treating you like shit for a year.
he treated me shit like
Yeah,
5
you treated
months.
me like shit for 5 months.
I remember like
That's
Valentine's
awesome.
Day, like Valentine's was coming up, and I
Yeah.
like he was meeting with all the chef de parties, and I wasn't there. And I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "We're talking about Valentine's Day." I was like, "Oh, why wasn't I?" He's like, "You're not gonna." He's like, "You're leaving. What do you care?"
He didn't invite you to the fucking
I was
meeting.
like,
You're like, I'm the CBC,
I'm fucking leaving
bro.
in like 3 months.
Yeah. That's
Like,
awesome.
What the fuck?
So, but after that, did it chill out? Or do you have a good relationship?
We're actually
with
good
him
friends
now?
now.
Okay.
I just went to his house and cooked like a dinner with the Sprouts.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're good on rapport now.
Dope.
But I think when I left, I had to leave and then come back and talk to him, and then we're fine now. But when I was there, he was just super pissed and
Okay.
mad about it all, like a little kid. I was like, okay.
Hey, he only knows what his chefs taught him.
Yeah, I
you
know.
At the
I
end of
know.
the day.
Yeah.
So, and I think that probably taught you to not ever do that to people that were leaving you.
No, I've been
know what I
always
mean?
try to like, if you're gonna leave, I get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
it's
as long as you
nothing
give me
personal.
proper notice,
Yeah, exactly.
that's all I ask.
And you'll get proper notice. I also think that, I don't know, 2 weeks notice I think is enough. Those are the written rules, and I
Yeah.
think that there's also some chefs that are like, oh, he only gave me 2 weeks notice. It's like nobody owes you fucking shit. Nobody owes you anything.
No.
So it's like
I mean, all I ask, especially for management positions, I ask a little bit longer than 2 weeks. But I don't. If you don't give me a month, I don't.
And you're not gonna be like treating them like shit for a month. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So you left there. Are you having a job on the horizon there? Or
Yeah, I moved to Florida.
They poach you?
A friend of mine was opening a restaurant in Palm Beach,
Okay. Called what?
Forte,
Okay.
Italian food.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Let's just go to Florida.
Chef, you strike me as you're telling your stories. You're a wild man, weren't you? You're a party animal or what?
No, I
feel like
a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, you're like.
But actually, like when I was in Vegas, I didn't party at all, really. Like,
Okay.
Because I got there and I was very like, I'm gonna work here and like do my thing, and it was good for networking.
But you had lived in so many cities at that point. You're just
yeah.
party.
I mean,
out,
you first
bro.
get there, you're like, oh, Vegas, and then
Yeah.
after a while, you're just like, oh, what the fuck? Like it's every day is like a party. I don't need to like deal with this all the time. No, I had a friend of mine that was opening a restaurant in Florida, and he had reached out to my buddy who was at Michael Mina in the city,
Right.
and my brother who was also still back in Vegas, and he poached all of us to go open this restaurant for him in Palm Beach, Florida. So we all moved there, and we lived in like a little apartment together. But like quickly, we were like, oh, what the fuck did we sign up for? Like this is not good.
Why wasn't it good?
It's just a totally different. Like I'd been to Florida, but I never worked in Florida. Like
Yeah.
opening a restaurant in Florida was fucking a mess. I remember like I was trying to like
Staff or
do
what?
the staffing. It was hot as fuck.
They're like, bro.
And then
I'm
like
not coming
just
to
like
work
sourcing
today.
stuff. I'm like, can I order? I called in person. I'm like, can I get some beets? They're like, oh, that's a pre-order. I was like, fucking pre-order for when? They're like, oh, like 2 days from now. I was like, I have to pre-order beets like 2 days from now.
Yeah.
Or 2 days ahead to get beets for tomorrow. He's like, yeah. I'm like, we don't stock them. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of stuff like that for just like basic vegetables. Maybe that's different now, but back in, this is like 2007, 2008, 2009.
I probably don't grow any of that shit there.
No.
Yeah, can't. Okay, so apart from that, the staff, you already knew you were leaving before you even fucking, for like a week there, you're like, I'm
Yeah.
gone, bro.
No, we moved there. We opened it. It was a lot of delays, so we ended up like just hanging out and trying to like make it work. The GM jumped ship like almost immediately from the Mina group, and he went back to Mina. It was just like it was one of these restaurants that I really had high ambitions, but like the location didn't merit what the restaurant was trying to do.
Right.
It was like a big ass restaurant. He was trying us to do like this really fancy Italian fine dining thing, but like it was kind of like in the street that like everyone wants to be casual and chill, and no one wants to eat fucking super fine dining
Yeah.
shit. So
I could already see that restaurant right now.
yeah,
There's a bunch of like fucking busy ass bars and then this quiet restaurant with nobody in it.
it was a huge restaurant though. It was
Yeah.
like 100 and 20 seats or some shit.
Was it expensive?
Yeah, it was expensive. It was
in a
like
tourist
super.
area?
Yeah, it was on Clematis Street, which is kind of like this touristy part of West Palm Beach.
Right. Did it close?
Yeah, it closed.
Okay. How
Yeah.
long after it opened?
I don't know. I got fired.
You got fired.
I got
Why?
fired. So the partner guy that was a friend, he got fired first because it was like doing really bad, and there was like a lot of numbers were not lining up on his end. And then when they fired him, they brought in like this other partner guy who was this like Italian Guido dude that owned a bunch of Italian restaurants in Florida.
Yeah.
And he was like dictating to me like what I should order and who I should order fish from, and this guy and squid from this guy, and it was all like this backdoor Italian frozen bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I didn't do any of it. So I was like, I'm not gonna buy fish from that guy. His fish is terrible. And so I did that for like a few months, and then eventually like I came in, they're like, you're fired. I was like, okay, fine, fire me. Like I want to quit here anyway.
Yeah.
So I got fired from there.
And then to like next take it out, you're out of Florida?
Uh,
Or did you stick around for a
no,
little while?
I stick around for a sec because my brother was there and we were like living together, and he had gotten a job at the Four Seasons. So I was just like, I'm just gonna chill here for a sec. And then I did. Oh, I got Roland called me with Danielle, and they wanted me to do the Bocuse d'Or.
Oh, okay.
And this was like I think the 2010 Bocuse d'Or for the U.S. tryouts. So I was like, I don't really do that kind of food, but I'll submit like an essay and see what you guys think. So I got chosen to do it, which was just like a hard thing. Like
What position did you play there?
I was they wanted me to like try out to go to Lyon as one of the participants.
The person cooking, the person doing
cooking.
the shit.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. So it was hard because I was a transient and I didn't have like a kitchen.
Right.
So eventually I moved back to San Francisco, and I ended up doing all my tasting out of Charles Fahn's
Oh, really?
commissary kitchen.
Yeah.
Because my ex-girlfriend was the CDC at Slanted Door. She's like, we have this giant kitchen that you could probably do stuff out of. So I ended up going there. But yeah, it was just like, I was like kind of like forcing the food I felt, because it's not like the food that I generally cook. Like all the Bocuse d'Or food is like all highly manicured and gels and stuff, and I just don't cook that way. So it was a good experience, but I did it. It was in Napa. No, sorry, it wasn't Napa. It was at CIA. It was the CIA in New York. It was the year that James Kent went from 11 Madison Park.
Got you. Dope. So you got to work with James Kent.
I competed against James Kent.
Oh, you competed against him.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Competed against James Kent.
Cool. Did you guys win? No.
No, I didn't win.
Okay.
James won.
He won.
He won, and then he went to Lyon.
Okay.
Yeah, he won the. So it's like there's like 10 chefs.
Yeah.
That go to this U.S. thing, and you do your thing, and then they pick one, and then that person goes to train with the laundry or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they go to Lyon.
Isn't there a person that has to be like young or something?
Yeah, you
like
have a commis.
Under whatever.
Yeah, it's like under
years old?
25 or something.
Yeah.
Or,
There's
I don't
very
know.
few of them. They don't pick them based on skill. They pick them based
like
on
age.
age. Yeah, that's it. Oh man, so you did that, and then where do you land yourself? Like, what are you thinking about? Is this place even in your mind?
This place?
Yeah, like
No.
like a restaurant, like opening a restaurant for you.
I wanted to open a restaurant.
All right.
I wanted to be a chef of a restaurant at that point. But I wanted to go back to San Francisco, so I did go back to San Francisco at that time. Because I was already living here.
Okay.
And then I met Matt Semmelhack, who at the time was who put an ad out on Craigslist for looking for a chef partner for a restaurant in San Francisco. So I responded to the ad. We had a conversation over coffee, and he's like, I'm opening this restaurant called AQ, but I don't have a location. I don't have any money yet. So that's the whole conversation we have. So, fast forward like a year later, we open AQ in Soma. I think that was like 2011. We opened that.
Or were you just, I'm part of this group, we're opening restaurants?
The original idea wasn't necessarily to open a bunch of restaurants. Originally, I was just open the one restaurant. And then eventually we opened, I think, 3 more after that.
At this point, you've opened like 8 restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Aged you.
It's that's one way to put it.
It's like dog years.
Yeah.
You open one restaurant, you're like 7 years older.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happened?
It's such a stressful thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone keeps opening restaurants.
I mean,
Because it's like one of those. I feel like it's a. As much as a high you get from like cooking on the line and like working service, like opening restaurants is a different kind of like.
do you think that is chefs trying to scratch that itch of being on the line?
I don't know.
It's
I mean,
like
part of me opening this place is I wanted to have. I didn't want to stand in expo all night, which is one of the reasons I have the kitchen designed the way it is.
Yes.
So I can actually I can still expo, but I can also go cook and work a station if I need to, or I can still go cook in the middle of service. Because when I was at AQ and all the other restaurants, I would just expo.
Yeah, I know.
And expoing is just like, it's hard. Not hard like it's physically hard or like mentally hard. It's hard because like, as a cook, you want to cook.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't want to work a station every day. But just standing there calling tickets for 4 hours.
Well, ultimately, I think a chef just wants to do what he wants to do. And if he wants to call some tables and then go over and saute some fucking fish and then go over and grill some meat, he should be able to do that. And there shouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you created what you wanted to create, no, at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then I got that itch out of my work.
Yeah. So when did the first inkling of this happen? Was it after Bocuse?
No, this happened
Or after
Mago.
Yeah, after, yeah.
This happened. I closed everything in 2017. Our partnership. He wanted to get out, and he wanted me to buy him out, and I didn't want to stay in the city anymore because I lived.
So you
Oakland.
closed all restaurants?
Closed all restaurants.
How was that?
I mean, it was bittersweet.
So many people,
Yeah, it was bittersweet.
Did people hold it against you? Were they like, "What the fuck"?
I don't think so. We actually told everyone way beforehand we closed. So it wasn't like, "Hey guys, tomorrow we're closing." It was very like,
You didn't
"Hey."
do the old-fashioned way. You show up to work. The
Yeah, like, oh, the door's locked.
Yeah. Noosh.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. That was fucked
I heard
up.
about that the other day.
Yeah.
Because I was like, somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to Noosh," and then I looked it up, and I'm like, "Damn, bro, they just changed the locks
Change the
on
locks
the
on the
chefs."
chef. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Who are those chefs?
I don't remember.
Right.
I don't remember their names.
They probably don't have anything.
They still have Noosh, I think. Or
They
did
still own Noosh?
Noosh is back.
Noosh is there.
Noosh is there.
Noosh is
I
there
don't know
in
if it's the
Oakland.
same chefs.
I don't think it's
I think
the
it's
same
the same chefs. Yeah.
I mean, they changed the locks.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that
I don't
sucks.
think that'd keep me out, bro. I throw a motherfucking something through that window.
I want my
Like,
shit
you're not
back,
fucking.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
My knives and stuff.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Take all the recipes, put them
Yeah.
in the fryer. Like, there's all these things.
Yeah.
When you're a line cook and you're getting roasted, and like, you're thinking about the dish that's coming. You're thinking about, what you fucked up that you're getting yelled at about, but you're also thinking about what you're gonna do to this person that's yelling at you. There's always like a little bit in your mind, like, what if I just threw this hot fryer oil at this fucking guy's face right now? And so shout out to all you cooks out there, because I know you probably thought that about me a couple times.
Most definitely. About me.
For sure. How do you find yourself leading nowadays versus
I'm definitely
maybe 10 years ago?
Super chill.
Right.
As I've gotten older, my patience has grown a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And especially working with younger cooks these days. Like in the past, there's a lot of things I would do where I would just like dump out their mise en place or just like throw their plate and be like, this plate is shit, and put it in the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll still do stuff like that, but it's not on a day-to-day basis, and it's definitely not as aggressive as it was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think you still need to hold people accountable, but I think there's a way better way of approaching it. That's better for the cooks to understand like why things need to be a certain way, and help them grow as cooks and as people, as opposed to building this fear-mongering environment where like cooks are either scared of you or pissed at you and are here because of whatever reason, because of the stars or something, et cetera, like that.
Right.
So I want people to work here because they want to work here with me, not because I have a star, or because it's whatever reason other than they want to be here.
Mm-hmm. Did you open this place thinking about the cooks more so than thinking about accolades and like, I want to get on food
So,
and
I
wine?
mean, part of when we first opened, the whole thing was like sustainability, and not just like we do farm to table Like it's all about like everyone works 4-day work week. Even pre-pandemic, when we were open 6 days a week, the cooks still worked 4 days a week. So it's always been about everyone having a better sustainable life and still like doing what they want to do, which is cooking.
Right.
And even like the tip pool for like the back of the house, it's equal share between kitchen and dining room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the cooks get tipped. The cooks are part of the servers team because they do all the serving with the plates. And so to me, it makes sense that the cooks get the equal share of the tips.
Right. Makes sense.
It makes sense. Some people don't. Some servers are like, that's not fair. I'm like, well,
that's
don't
an old
work
school
here.
server.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't have to work here. You can go work.
Also, I feel
somewhere
like
else.
the wages for a server back in the day when that mattered were menial.
Yeah.
Meaning they were making
They're making
$5
like
an hour.
$4 an hour.
Yeah. So
Now they're
now if
making-
you're making 22,
Yeah.
don't expect the same motherfucking tips.
Yeah.
Especially if the cooks aren't getting tipped. Like,
Yeah,
what are
exactly.
you doing?
Well, it's always like, you should just pay more. I'm like, from what money? Like,
Yeah.
where am I supposed to pay more with?
You should just pay them more.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's non-business owners telling business owners how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
run their business.
Yeah.
That's all right. I get it. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah,
I
there
think
are.
it's the access to information. Because
Well-
somebody reads a headline and then they're like, I know everything about this because I read the headline, one article, I got this. And it's like, no.
You don't got it.
just fucking
You don't got
study-
anything.
Exactly. It's like if you don't own your own business, it's hard to tell people that. Of course, you're going to get frustrated with it because there's things as a business owner that you have to fucking do that aren't that cool.
Yeah.
But
And that's part
you
of opening your own business
Yeah.
is like dealing with all that stuff that's not cool.
Yeah, and if you're gonna keep this place open, then there's certain things that just need to be the way they are.
Yeah.
Like it seems like you have a good team here, though.
We're a really solid team. I
Yeah.
mean, it took a long time to it was like just like everybody else. Like staffing is
Yeah.
the biggest hindrance we've had in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. But nothing like Vegas. So you're good. No unions.
No union.
No fucking unions out here. I can see it now. 50
Oh my
years from
God.
now, just
Yeah.
the eater union of cooks. I'll have a list of restaurants not to work at because you'll get abused.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? So when you finally say I'm going to open Mago, how do you go about even finding a space, or even knowing that you want
So
it to be in Oakland?
I took about a year off.
Okay.
My daughter I think she was 2 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd already been kind of a stay away dad. I was working a lot of hours when she was born. So I decided I was going to take a year off and not work at all. I was going to stay at home with her and like focus on family time.
Being a dad, yeah.
Yeah, which was like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point I was like, maybe I think I want to open another restaurant. My wife was like, you sure? Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, I was like, I think so.
Yeah.
I was like, I miss it. But I didn't want to like open something that was like super big. I wanted it to be small enough to where I could make some money, but also not like a tiny restaurant where it was just gonna be me and a dishwasher all the time. And so originally I started looking back in San Francisco because that's what I knew. I was like, I love San Francisco. I'm gonna go back there. I was living in Oakland this whole time. Then I was like, what the fuck for am I gonna go back to San Francisco? Like, it's a long commute. I'm also not part of that community anymore. I'm part of the Oakland community. My kids go to school here. I live here. I also think the Oakland food scene is just fucking bonkers right now. It's so good. And so I was like, I want to be a part of this, not necessarily what's happening in San Francisco. So I started looking in Oakland, and that process just takes a long time because I was like, I wanted something that wasn't too big. I wanted a second generation restaurant because I didn't want to do a full build out and spend like 3 years building it out. I wanted a patio. So like all these things were kind of like, I also wanted like a single story restaurant because I didn't want to have to deal with like HVAC going up like 17 floors.
Right.
So it took a while. Eventually, one of my brokers was like, I think there's this place, Cybel's, that's not on the market, but he's had it for 30 years. And maybe if you talk to him, he might want to sell it. That's what I did. I came in and we started talking. And he was like, no, I don't want to sell it. I'm good. I'm happy. I was like, okay. So I kept looking. And then maybe 4 months later, he called me. He's like, actually, I want to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went through the process, and then we got an architect. It was a pretty fast process. And obviously, like with the second generation restaurant, I thought it was gonna be a quick turnaround because it's like
Definitely not.
no, it's fucking 30-year-old restaurants. You have like electrical issues, plumbing issues. But I think for the most part, we opened it pretty fast. Like I got the keys in November of 2018. We opened in June 2019.
When were you doing the R&D and all that? Were you doing it here? Were you doing it at home?
I was doing it at home, and I was doing pop-ups out of my house and out of there's like a Forage Kitchen. So I was using that place to do a lot of mise en place, which is fucking crazy working out of like these commissary kitchens.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because you have like all sorts of people using it for all sorts of different things.
Right.
So you see a lot of shit that I'm just like, what the fuck is that person doing? Like I'm a caterer. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. So like it's like one of those eye-opening things. You're like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah. This is
like,
how we do things now.
yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna go over where you're doing stuff. I'm just gonna stay on my side.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of pop-ups. I did some collab things while I was trying to get the money, and tried also like while we're R&Ding things. And then, yeah, we opened June of 2019. But it wasn't Colombian at that time. It was Northern California cuisine.
What made you switch?
So through the pandemic, the pandemic hit, and I had to let everyone go, of course. And then we did, a year of takeout and whatever the fuck we could do to make it work. And then I think in December of 2020, I was just like burnt out. I was like, let's just get through this holiday season with all the takeout shit and family meal kits and stuff, and let's just close for like a month, and let's think about what the future looks like. When that happened, my dad got sick in December. He'd already been having some health issues, and then he died in January 2021 while we were on break from COVID. And so I kind of was like, I needed to like find what cuisine I wanted to do. But I wanted to be something that was more personable to me. And not necessarily because I wanted to like honor my dad, but I was just like kind of like Northern California cuisine was just like this hodgepodge of you could do whatever you want. And I was kind of like, I'm tired of like doing whatever I want. I need something that's like
it's
more
some structure.
Some more structure. And I was like, I don't really want to do, my dad was Jewish, but I was like, I don't really want to do Jewish food right now at this time. And like, I was like, my mom's Colombian. I grew up eating Colombian food, and I love Colombian food. And there's like no one representing it here in Northern Cali. There's a few places. So like, yeah, we opened back up with outdoor dining only. We started doing Colombian food. And we just kind of like kept building and building on that.
Okay. So where are you now? How many courses are we talking about?
We're doing 12 courses.
12 courses.
Yeah.
Okay. Priced at?
85 currently.
85,
yeah.
Bro. I find that Oakland is probably the only place that can.
I'm gonna raise the price a little bit. It's a little too cheap.
Yeah.
Just because I've mainly just to catch up with the labor. Like we've added more people to the team, so I just need to like even out the labor pool with the price of the menu. But yeah, like the food we do is like we're not trying to do super luxurious things. We do like a lot of offcuts of meat. And we still source like really nice shit, but it's not like always, the ribeye. It's sometimes like the shank, or it's like the. But also like Colombian food's super like. It's not like it's not driven by like ribeyes and stuff. It's all like stews of like tough cuts and things like that.
Right.
And so that's just kind of the food we do here. And while we do source like really good shit, like it's still like based in kind of like the rusticity of the country.
Do you do anything like caviar or Wagyu? None of that. Got you. No. So you're not supplements in the fucking menu and shit. Okay.
Yeah. I just want like this is like we change the menu every day, and I'm like this is the menu for the day. And
do you get pushback from people that come here and they're like, "You said fine dining. Where's the caviar?"
I get I don't get that. I actually get more pushback from people that are Colombian. That are like, this is not
authentic.
This is not authentic.
Yeah.
And that's
You're like, well, of course it's not.
Yeah, I'm not fucking authentically Colombian, and we're not in Colombia.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I get reviews, and usually like reviews I don't give a fuck about. I'm just like, unless it's something that like has merit, like, oh, like this, there's no light on this table. Like, oh, okay, I can look at that.
Right.
Only time I get mad is if it's like questioning the authenticity of like me or like the team, or why the food is not 100% Colombian. Or it's misappropriation of culture. So I've called out some people on that. I'm like, I'm fucking Colombian. Like, I'm not trying to like misappropriate any culture. Like, this is the food I grew up eating. And maybe it's not your Colombia, but it's my Colombia.
Right.
And so like my mom fed me Colombian food, but in the 80s, she probably didn't have access to a lot of stuff. So there was probably some hybrid of like California things, probably a lot of Mexican ingredients I grew up eating that were like made into Colombian food. But those are the flavors I know. So I'm not trying to like authenticate it just trying to do what I like and what we do here.
Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself opening up any other restaurants?
Yeah, I'm always looking for spaces.
Okay.
My wife is like, why do you want? Because I'm like, I have other ideas that I want to do.
Yeah.
But also as like we're a small team, but as the team grows, like I want to have like an outlet.
Options
for the team to stay within the company. Because at some point they're gonna have to leave if there's no growth.
Right.
So I want to have that option for the team to like grow with the company.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think I think the Oakland community is so embracing of food right now.
Yeah.
And so I think there's opportunities to like offer so many different things.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's very cool. What is an idea? Throw one out there.
So I want to do a rotisserie spot that does all these different birds.
Okay.
Everyone does chicken.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do like, duck and like turkeys, quail sometimes. It's kind of like a rotating variety of different rotisserie birds. I want to do a Jewish supper club.
Okay.
That's like membership.
Okay. Membership
Jewish supper club.
What is that? What would that entail?
You just have to sign up for the email list.
Right.
That's it.
And then.
I mean the food.
Like, how do you justify the price, basically?
Oh, it's a la carte.
Okay.
It's just
And is it like a certain amount of days a week?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay. Yeah, you can't be doing that 7 days a week, bro.
No.
Yeah, kill yourself.
No.
Not good.
I don't want to do things 7 days a week anymore anyway.
Right.
Like I've realized with having 2 kids, I just like want to. You need to have like some balance.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the restaurant's open 7 days a week, I'm gonna say like I'm not gonna be there 7 days a week. But if like something happens, or if like someone calls out, or if the fucking sewer line does this, I have to go there and deal with it. So you're essentially like on call all the time. You're 7 days a week.
I was going to do an interview with James over at Comey, and he had some plumbing issues that day. He's like, sorry, we can't record. Yeah. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But it's understandable, Yeah. Chefs deal with problems from when you wake up to when you go to sleep,
all day.
So, fuck yeah. Well, I'm going to come eat here for sure.
Yeah.
It looks dope. It looks like I love the way the bar looks over here. You can just like see the entire kitchen in there. Did you put in that rotisserie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Is that wood fire?
Wood fire.
Okay. Crazy. How big is your team right now?
There's 5 of us.
5 of you. Okay.
5.
What are the station breakdowns?
There's pastry, saute, wood fire, garde manger, and then sous chef.
Mm-hmm.
Myself.
So you have 1 sous chef and then you.
Chef.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing most of the. Are you looking for a CDC?
No.
I guess my question. And
Not right now.
And you'll never have a CDC, or
no,
is it
I'm
just
not saying that. I'm just right now it doesn't really merit having one.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a small team. We're not doing crazy numbers. On a busy night we're doing 50 covers. Yeah, I still like being here every day cooking. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think if we opened other restaurants, then that's a different story. Or I'd have to like get a CDC.
Right.
Because I'm not going to be here all the time. But right now I'm here. I'm here most nights. We're only open 4 nights. I'm here 4 nights a week.
Okay.
Cooking.
And when you're not working, where are you eating here in Oakland?
I always get this question. I don't know. It's
You
hard.
don't know?
Well, it's hard because I have 2 kids that are like toddlers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff I'm just like, I used to eat there, but now I don't eat there anymore
Yeah.
because my kids don't like spicy food or they don't like this. And we don't go out as much as anymore because the kids are fucking crazy. I mean, Palmette's good.
Yeah,
Up the road.
I went there for my birthday.
Oh, I saw you for your birthday.
Fucking dope.
Yeah, it's good.
It was really good. Yeah, the food's clean.
My favorite Thai place, not in Oakland, but is a Funky Elephant in Berkeley.
Okay.
It's like North Berkeley, like Gilman. Super delicious, tasty, spicy. I like Nick's Pizza.
Nick's Pizza?
Nick's Pizza.
Okay.
What was the pizza place that was open next to Sobaichi? There was a pizza place right next to it.
I'm not sure.
It was really good. It closed because they had no permits. It was really good. Oh, June's Pizza.
No permits? What do you mean?
They had no permits at all to operate.
Okay, they were just rolling.
Yeah.
They just opened a restaurant.
Just opened a
and
restaurant.
Said, we're going to do this until we shut down?
Yeah. But the pizza was fucking legit.
Yeah.
Sobaichi's really good.
Okay.
Ipuku.
Puku I've had.
Ipuku's good.
Yeah, Puku I've had. That's pretty good. Cool. Dope, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
nice
you.
to meet you. For sure. We'll look this way and do one of these. Boom. All right, there we go. Sucio Talk podcast. Thank you for joining us. Fucking check out suciotalk.com. Buy yourself some merch. Support the show. Sponsored by Truffle Shuffle SF. TruffleShuffleSF.com for your cooking class needs. We're at Mago Restaurant here in Oakland. Come check it out. Peace.
Like live, you said?
Yeah, with people call in.
Okay.
Yeah.